It's time to run the Kanto starters. Late last year we ran the Johto starters and they all got very good times, with Typhlosion and Feraligatr making it onto the podium. That means that these Kantonian starters really do have their work cut out for them. We're mixing things up a little bit by going in reverse dex order, and we're starting with Blastoise. And just before we get into the challenge, I once again want to say thank you to all of you. Last month was a really fun return to the channel, and I really enjoyed every single run that I did, and that's all because of you. Now if you do enjoy this video, please do consider leaving a like. If you want to see more challenge runs just like this, and you want to see some streams, then please do click the subscribe button with the little bell. If you have any feedback at all, please do leave a comment down below, and if you want to support me further, you can do on patreon.com/trainersquidgy, or join the channel membership here, links are in the description. And with all that out of the way, let's take a little look at the stats of our Squirtle. We are level 5 with 20 HP. Our only moves are Tackle and Tail Whip, but we are holding a berry. We have 11 in attack, 13 in defense, 11 in special attack, 12 in special defense, and 10 in speed. Let's now get the graphics up and the challenge underway. We'll get the potion from Professor Elm's aid, and as always I'll show you the very first encounter we have with a wild Pokemon. In this instance it's a level 2 Hoothoot, and Hoothoot isn't so good to grind against when you're a physical attacker. It knows Growl, and that can slow down the training process an awful lot. However, we do manage to knock out a few Hootoots en route, and we will grow up to level 7. At level 7 we learn our first special move, it's Bubble. It's only 20 base power, going up to 30 with Stab, but that is still a significant improvement over Tackle. After learning Bubble, we did a little bit more levelling up and got into Mr. Pokemon's house at level 9, and that is the level at which we will face the rival. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Squirtle, and that means the rival will have a Chikorita. So Chikorita is a very bulky Pokemon and also knows Growl, so this was a little bit of a war of attrition. Chikorita definitely can't hit too hard, however its bulk really slows this first battle down. It took quite a few tackles to get through, but we did eventually, and that means we can go and talk to the lovely police officer and tell him that the rival's name is triple question mark. And with that, the challenge run is well and truly underway. Our first destination is going to be Violet City, but we're going to beat up some trainers en route. The first trainer we're going to beat up here is youngster Mikey. He's got a level 2 Pidgey, and off that we learn Withdraw, and then we're just going to tackle his Rattata for a little bit of damage as well. And now that we've beaten him up, we can go into Violet City and go straight into the gym. In the gym, Falkner's waiting for us. He's a flying type specialist who will lead with a Pidgey. Now we don't really have any moves too great at the moment, we've got Tackle and Bubble. However, we do have quite a bit of bulk behind us, and that means we can easily tank any of the hits that both his Pokemon make. So in this instance it's just a case of wearing down his Pokemon until they can fight no more. We eventually do that against the Pidgeotto, we grow to level 13, and at level 13 we can finally say goodbye to Bubble and learn Water Gun in its place. We lose 5 PP, but we double our power, so that is going up to base 60 power with Stab. But with a Zephyr Badge obtained in a time of 6 minutes and 24 seconds, we can start making our way through towards Azalea Town. Before we go into Azalea Town though, we've got to make it through the Union Cave, and in Union Cave, Hiker Russell is waiting for us. He's got 3 Geodude, and Geodude being 4 times weak to water, which means it's just a single water gun on each of his Pokemon to knock them out. And knocking all 3 of them out grows us to level 16, and at level 16 we get our first evolution, so we say goodbye to Squirtle and hello to Wartortle. And now that we're out of the Union Cave, we can catch our HM friends. The first HM friend to show their face today is Paris. Paris is going to be helping us out with Cut, Flash, Sweet Sense and Dig. And the channel members on Team Paris are Gemma Barnes, Andrew the Sandshrew, Peachleaf and Seaduke. And the next HM friend is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Waterfall and Whirlpool. And on Team Psyduck we have Mudharvey, Hayabusa, William St. Germain, Dr. Coof Bratom and King Cygnus. And with both of those HM friends tucked away safely in our bag, we're going to go into the Slowpoke well, where we're going to beat up a Rocket Grunt. This Rocket Grunt just has a coughing, and Water Gun is a 2-shot. We get poisoned but take no poison damage, and at level 18 we learn Bite. We're going to say goodbye to Tackle and hello to Bite, because even though our special attack is slightly lower than our physical attack, Bite is going to help out against those pesky ghost types. And now with the Slowpoke all rescued, we can make our way into the gym and start thinking about taking on Bugsy. Bugsy's our second gym leader together. He's a bug-type specialist who will lead with Metapod. We use Bite against the Metapod to knock it out in 2 shots and we're on to the Kakuna. My plan here was to not get poisoned by hoping to flinch the Kakuna, however we didn't get poisoned regardless. And now we're on to the Scyther. We're just going to keep on taking nibbles out of this Scyther as we survive on 9 HP to get through the battle, and we get a time of 13 minutes and 48 seconds for the Hive badge. We cannot celebrate for too long though because we have the second rival battle on the way. This time he's going to lead with a Ghastly, and this is why it's very nice that we have Bite on our learn set. Bite of course is super effective against the ghost type, so we knock it out in 1 shot and we're on to the Bayleaf. We don't really have anything too super effective against the Bayleaf, however we flinch it twice in a row, it misses poison so we take no damage, we bite the Zubat as we then get confused, we hit through the confusion to take a damageless rival 2. That with a water type is something incredibly spectacular. And now that we've defeated the rival, we can start making our way through the Ilex Forest. We're going to grab cuts from the Cutting Master, we're also going to get headbutts from the green haired man staring at the tree, and we're going to teach that straight away. Headbutt is an incredibly good and strong physical move for this point in the game, and I really like having the chance to flinch on both a physical and special move. But now we're going to make our way out of the forest and catch our next HM friend. It's Abra, and Abra's going to be helping us out with teleport, and on Team Abra we have Austin, we have Pariah Dark, and we have SSJ Derp. And with that, we only have one more HM friend to get. It's my personal favourite of the HM friends, it is Kenya. Kenya's going to be helping us out with Fly, getting us all over the place. And on Team Kenya, we have Salami Guy and Floor Inspect. You may have noticed the routing has changed a little bit. We're no longer buying the Abra from the game corner, and instead we're getting it in the wild. That skips 2 mandatory battles going to get the coin case. And it also means we can blitz through the other 2 battles in the underground during the time when we're taking on Team Rocket, and by that time we'll be incredibly over-leveled. I did a little bit of testing with the lovely people over in my Discord server, and this seems to be the quicker route, but we will find out together over the course of the next few runs. However, now we're going to take on Whitney. She is our 3rd gym leader together. She's a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. We get through the Clefairy losing 20 HP and we're on to the Miltank. We're slower than Miltank, it gets a critical hit when it starts to roll and we get knocked out. We have some atrocious luck in the next couple of battles and we're on to reset number 3. This time we get through the Clefairy on 63 HP as we flinch from Stomp. She gets herself locked into Rollout and it's looking like a similar conclusion, but Rollout misses. That was exactly the luck we needed to be able to hit it with a couple more water guns, knock it out, decline learning Rapid Spin and get the Plane Badge in a time of 21 minutes and 4 seconds. And now with the Plane Badge safely tucked away in our bag, we can make our way next door into the flower shop, have a little chance with the eavesdropping ladies, and get the Squirts bottle. Now before we leave Goldenrod City, we're going to take a trip into the department store. In the department store, we've got a couple of TMs to pick up. The first thing we're going to do is grab 2 TM33s, which contain Ice Punch, and the second thing we're going to do is get the Return TM. We've done enough battles up until this point to allow us to get Return from the lady, and that means we never have to go in there again. We'll make our way north into Ecruteak City now, and we'll take on the Kimono Girls. As always, I try and show the Kimono Girl with a type advantage over us, and this time it's Jolteon. The Thundershock deals next to no damage at all against us, and our reward for defeating all 5 Kimono Girls is the Surf HM. We're going to teach that straight away in place of Water Gun to Wartortle. Having Surf means we are now at base 95 power without Stab, and that is a huge improvement. We teach it to Psyduck at the same time, and then we make our way towards the Lake of Rage. At the Lake of Rage, we've got a rare candy waiting for us just in front of this tree, and we're going to grab the Hidden Power as well. Even on occasions where I don't intend to learn Hidden Power, I like picking it up. Sometimes in these runs it's necessary to forget a move, so for instance we could forget Bite, and having perfect DVs means we can always have our backup of Hidden Power Dark instead. And while we were picking things up, we got the Minceberry west of Ecruteak City at the Moo Moo Farm, and now it's time for the 3rd rival battle. He leads with Haunter this time, and we use Surf. Surf is a one-shot on the Haunter, and we are on to the Magnemite. Magnemite puts up no resistance either against Surf, and then we get to headbutting the Bayleaf. Headbutt deals just under half damage, so it's going to be a 3 shots as we take a little damage from Razor Leaf, and our final Pokemon is Zubat. It's back to the surf with Zubat as we knock it out in 1 shot, and that means we've defeated the rival for the 3rd time. We'll fall through the hole, we'll release the beasts, and now it's time for Morty. Morty is our 4th gym leader together, and he is a ghost and poison type specialist. He leads with Ghastly that goes down in 1 surf. We're onto the Haunter that also goes down in 1 surf, and here comes Gengar. It's a 2 shot on the Gengar, and unfortunately that means we get sent to sleep. I really want to save the Mint Berry for Chuck because we don't have too much great against his Pokemon. So we're going to try again, and hopefully this time we won't get sent to sleep. We get through his first 2 Pokemon with the greatest of ease as ever, and we're onto the Gengar once more. He wastes his turn and uses Mean Luck instead of Hypnosis, and that brings us onto the final Haunter. We have a little nibble out of that, we knock it out, and we have Morty's badge in a time of 29 minutes and 28 seconds. Let's now move on to Olivine City. The first thing we're going to do in Olivine City is pick up Strength from the man at the cafe. Strength is going to be taught to Psyduck straight away, and we'll take a little trip to the lighthouse while we're here. In the lighthouse, Jasmine is waiting for us. She's going to tell us all about that allegedly poor sick Amphi. I'm still a bit suspicious of it myself, but we will oblige her once more and sail over the open waters towards Cyanwood City. In Cyanwood City, we'll grab the medication from the man in the drugstore, and while we're here, we might as well take on Chuck. Chuck is our 5th gym leader together. He's a fighting type specialist, and he leads with Primeape. We use Surf against the Primeape to take it deep into the red as he leers us, and this is where I realised I forgot to equip the Mint Berry. We do get a bit of luck on turn 1 and get a critical hit with Headbutt, however we don't flinch it and we get sent to sleep. I was really kicking myself at this point. If I had only remembered to equip the Mint Berry, we wouldn't be in this situation now. However, we are going to persevere as the Poliwrath is deep into the red. We wake up, we hit through the confusion, we knock it out without a reset, and we get an evolution as our reward. We say goodbye to Wartortle and hello to Blastoise. And with that, we have a Storm Badge in a time of 34 minutes and 34 seconds. Let's now get out of the gym to save ourselves from any further embarrassments. We'll have a little chat with Chuck's wife, who'll give us Fly to get us out of there even quicker, and we'll make our way towards Cherry Grove City. In Cherry Grove City, we're going to pick up the Mystic Water from the man at the lake, before heading over to the Lake of Rage. At the Lake of Rage, the red Gyarados is waiting for us, and I have a theory about this Gyarados. I reckon you were supposed to defeat it straight after taking on Morty, and that's why it's so over-leveled compared to the Rocket Grunts that we're going to be taking on in the Mahogany Underground. Talking of the Mahogany Underground, that's where we're going now with Lance the Liar, and with nothing of great significance happening in there, we'll go straight to after we've defeated all the Rockets, we get the Whirlpool HM from Lance, and now we're in Price's gym. Price is our 6th gym leader together. He's an Ice-type specialist who leads with Seal. And because he leads with Seal, we'll get to headbutting it straight away. We take it into the red as we take a whole 2 HP's worth of damage from his Icy Wind. We'll headbutt the Dugong as it headbutts us back. We knock the Dugong out in 3 shots and we're onto the Piloswine. Piloswine is weak to water, so it's a single surf to knock it out, and with that we have defeated Price and got the Glacier Badge in a time of 40 minutes and 18 seconds. That was a nice bit of a reprieve after Chuck's ordeal, and now we can make our way back to Olivine City and ascend the lighthouse. We'll give the medicine to Jasmine and then keep a very close watch on her to make sure she's not taking any for her Pokemon. This is just for the Ampharos. We'll even follow her into the gym and engage her in battle to make sure that she is playing perfectly legitimately this time. She is our 7th gym leader together. She's a Steel-type specialist who leads with Magnemite. We knock out both of her Magnemites in 1 shot, so we're not getting Thunder Shocked, and then Steelix, just like Piloswine, is weak to water. We knock it out in 1 hit, and we have Jasmine's badge in a time of 41 minutes and 26 seconds. We'll now make our way over towards Goldenrod City once more, where we'll pick up the rare candy just south of the daycare, and then we'll teleport back and make our way into the underground. And in the underground of Goldenrod City, our rival is waiting for us. It's our 4th rival battle together, and this time he's going to lead with Golbat. This Golbat has proven to be pesky on many occasions, but we knock it out with a critical hit with Surf, and that means no confusion for us. We knock out the Magnemite in 1 shot as well, and we are on to the Meganium. We start biting against the Meganium as we get poisoned. I really should have taught Ice Punch at this point, but we eventually knock it out in 4 shots and we're on to the Haunter. We use Surf against the Haunter to save us from the super effective text box, And then it's just one final surf against the Sneasel to defeat the rival for the 4th time, and I have learnt my lesson. We're going to get rid of Withdraw and we are going to finally learn Ice Punch. I should have done this a very long time ago. And with nothing else to report in the radio tower, we'll collect our rewards for rescuing the director. We get the pink bow off Mary and we'll also get the radio card off the lady at the desk. And now it's a quick fly over to Mahogany Town and a quick cycle east into the Ice Path. In the Ice Path we're going to get the Waterfall HM, and we're also going to get the Nevermelt Ice. The Nevermelt Ice will give us a 10% boost to our Ice-type moves, and that is perfect as our next gym leader is Clair. Clair is our 8th gym leader together. She's the actual Dragon-type specialist of this game, and she leads with Dragonair. It's a bit of a foregone conclusion against these Dragonair, as Ice Punch is a one-shot on every single one of them. That means we're not getting paralysed in this battle, and we can focus on the Kingdra. She then sends out the Kingdra, we use Ice Punch to take off roughly a third health, another Ice Punch takes her into the red as she heals up, and then we get a very lucky freeze. She uses a full heal as we get to Ice Punching once more, and a further 2 Ice Punches knocks it out, and we have her badge in a time of 55 minutes and 25 seconds. And now with all 8 Jotonian gym badges acquired, we can start thinking about making our way towards the Pokemon League. So we'll start off by grabbing the rare candy just east of New Bark Town, we'll beat up a few trainers on the Victory Road analogue, and then we'll make our way into Victory Road proper. We have TM26 waiting for us in here, and that is Earthquake. Earthquake is a very, very powerful ground-type move, but we're not going to teach it just yet. Instead, we're going to take on the rival. He leads with Sneasel this time, and it's a one-shot with Surf. He sends out his Magneton next because that's super effective against us, but it doesn't even get a chance to move. Out comes the Meganium, and this time Ice Punch is a one-shot. We really should have had that on much earlier. Ice Punch is also a one-shot against the Golbat, and we're on to the Haunter. I use Surf against the Haunter to knock it out in one single hit, and his final Pokemon is Kadabra. We critical hit the Kadabra to knock it out in one hit, and that means we have defeated the rival for the very last time. So now let's head into the Pokemon League. We're going to heal up our Pokemon and say thank you to our HM friends. It's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and to Paris. You've all been a massive help in the Johto region, but get some well-deserved rest as Blastoise takes on the League. We buy our 4 full restores, and now let's take a little look at our stats as we go into the League. We are level 53 with 178 HP. We're holding the Mystic Water, and our moves are Surf, Bite, Ice Punch, and Return. We have 127 in attack, 144 in defense, 127 in special attack, 149 in special defense, and 121 in speed. And our first League member is Will. Will is a Psychic-type specialist who leads with Xatu. We use Ice Punch against the Xatu to knock it out in one shot, and he sends out Executor. Ice Punch is super effective against the Executor, so it's a one-shot on that as well, so he tries with Jinx. We surf against the Jinx and take her deep into the red as she uses a weak Psychic against us. He sends out Slowbro and we use Bite. Bite takes it into the yellow and another one knocks it out, and his final Pokemon is another Xatu. We take a little nibble out of the Xatu to take it deep into the red as he heals up. We use 2 further nibbles to knock it out, and we've defeated Will in a time of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Up next is Koga. Koga is a poison-type specialist who leads with Ariados. We use Surf against the Ariados to knock it out in one hit, and he sends out Venomoth. It's another one-shot against the Venomoth as we drench it with Surf, and exactly the same happens against the Fortress. We grow to level 55 and decline the option to learn Skull Bash, and we're on to the Muck. We surf twice against the Muck to knock it out, and his final Pokemon is Crobat. We get a very lucky critical hit against the Crobat to knock it out in one, and we've defeated Koga in a time of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Up next is Bruno. Bruno is a fighting-type specialist who leads with Hitmontop. We don't quite knock Hitmontop out on the first turn, so we take a little bit of damage from Dig, and a similar thing happens with Thunder Punch on Hitmonchan. It's a roughly similar situation against the Hitmonlee as well, as we take it deep into the red but don't quite one-shot. It's a guaranteed 2-shot against the Machamp as Cross Chop hits us for a little bit of damage, and his final Pokemon is Onix. Onix is 4 times weak to water, so it's a nice reprieve at the very end of the battle, and we defeat Bruno in a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Up next is Karen, and Karen is a momentum killer. We get sand attacked on turn 1 against the Umbreon, and we get confused on turn 2. I keep powering through and we knock it out in 3 hits and we're onto the Vileplume. This is where this battle falls apart entirely. We hit ourselves in confusion as we get hit by Petal Dance, Ice Punches into one shot, and we eventually get knocked out by a second Petal Dance. We'll try again, hopefully we'll get some better luck this time. We do get sand attacks once more, but at least we're not confused. We Ice Punch the Vileplume once more and take it deep into the red, and we get a lucky freeze. We finish it off with Bite and we're on to the Gengar. We use Surf against the Gengar to knock that out in one shot, so she sends out Murkrow. Ice Punch is a one shot against the Murkrow and her final Pokemon is Houndoom. We use Surf against the Houndoom, it's a guaranteed one hit KO, and we've defeated Karen in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 39 seconds. And now the only thing standing between us and the Hall of Fame is Lance. He's the liar with the flyers and he leads with Gyarados. We use Ice Punch against it as he uses Flail. He will not use Rain Dance in this battle because we are also Water type. We knock it out in 3 hits and we're on to the first of 3 Dragonite. We knock that out in one shot and he sends out his second Thunder Waving Dragonite. We're not getting paralysed this time as Dragonite number 3 comes out. It's a one shot on all 3 of the Dragonites, and now we have the type advantage against both of his remaining Pokemon. I accidentally misclick and use Return instead of Surf against the Charizard, but it's still a 2-shot. We Surf against the Aerodactyl, and with that we grow to level 58, and we've defeated Lance in a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 28 seconds. And our league time is 1 hour, 5 minutes and 46 seconds. Not the smoothest ride ever, but still a very good run. Now don't you dare go anywhere because Kanto is next. And we're back where it all began outside our home in Newbark Town, and Professor Elm has some stuff for us. He's going to give us the SS tickets, which means we can get to the main chunk of Kanto. Before we get there though, we've got a couple of things to do. The first thing we're going to do is retrieve our HM friends. It's a very warm welcome back to Kenya, Abra, Psyduck and Paris. They all had a lovely rest and they're ready to help us out once more. We're now going to fly to Violet City and pick up the rare candy south of the Sprout Tower. And it's actually quicker to do Sprout Tower after you've defeated the rival at Victory Road. So we save on a cutscene and get our Flash HM now, we teach it to Paris and we fly to Ecruteak City. We take a quick cycle east into Mount Mortar where yet another rare candy is waiting for us. We'll then dig out of Mount Mortar, fly to Olivine City and head towards the Whirl Islands. We'll grab our final rare candy, we'll do a little spin on the spot, and suddenly we're in Vermilion City. And the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. And with that rare candy safely tucked away with all our other rare candies, we'll cycle north into Saffron City, skip through Saffron west onto Route 7 and into Celadon City. We'll get the leftovers from the bin in the cafe, we'll grab the PP up in the bush, and now it's time to take on Erica. Erica is our 9th gym leader together. She is a grass type specialist who leads with Tangela. Now I'm very glad we have Ice Punch on our learn set because it makes light work of the Tangela. Jumpluff is 4 times weak to ice, so that goes down straight away and she sends out Victory Bell. Ice Punch is a one shot on the Victory Bell and her final Pokemon is Blossom. And it's another one-hit wonder against the Blossom to defeat Erica and get the Rainbow Badge in a time of 1 hour, 11 minutes and 53 seconds. Up next is Misty, the water type specialist. Returns our best option against the Golduck and we knock it out in 2 shots, taking a little bit of damage. We're going to use Surf against the Quagsire because that's neutral and we knock it out in 1. She sends out the Lapras, so it's back to Return and we take it deep into the yellow. Blizzard hits for a very slight amount of damage, but we knock it out in 2 hits, and then we Return against the Starmie. I think Return would even have been more powerful than Bites there, and we defeat Misty in a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes and 25 seconds. Up next is Sabrina, the Psychic type specialist. She leads with Espeon. We take a little nibble out of Espeon, but we don't one-shot him, we get sand attacked in the process. Another nibble later though and it goes down, and we switch to Surf for the Mr. Mime. It's a one-shot on the Mr. Mime with Surf, and she sends out Alakazam. Alakazam's also a one-shot with Surf, so we should have done that from the start, and we get the Marsh Badge in a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes and 3 seconds. Our 4th gym leader in Kanto is Surge. He is an electric-type specialist who leads with Raichu. We are very lucky to be able to outspeed all of Surge's Pokemon, which means we aren't at any risk of being hit by any electric type moves whatsoever. I'm not a competitive battler by any means, but I think this is what they would call a sweep with Surf. So it's a one shot on all of his Pokemon to defeat him in a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 22 seconds. And our final leader in this rapid fire buffet of Kantonian gyms is Brock. He's a rock-type specialist who led with Graveler, but it went down before I even managed to finish my intro for him. His Kabutops went down in much the same way, as does his Omastar, and then we have two Pokemon that are 4 times weak to water. So it's goodbye to Rhyhorn, and it's also goodbye to Onix. That was a very smooth gym battle, and we defeat Brock in a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 22 seconds. We're now going to head south towards Cinnabar Island, taking on 3Drill en route, and thank you for all the name suggestions you've come up with for his 3B drill. Well, there are so many great suggestions, I'm going to open it up to my Discord community to have the final say, so we will start naming these very soon. I really like that we're starting to build up a lot of personality for plenty of trainers around the run, especially those that we take on every single challenge. But for now we need to make our way onto Cinnabar Island and have a little chat with Blue. Blue tells us all about this volcano that's erupted here and taken out the best place in all of Kanto. I was planning on getting a holiday home here, don't you know? I'm going to have to change my plans entirely. I'm going to take out my frustration on Blaine. He's a fire-type specialist who leads with Magcargo. Magcargo's 4 times weak to water, so it's 1 Surf to knock it out, and the Bumhead Fire Duck doesn't do any good either, as we outspeed it to knock it out with Surf once more. His final Pokemon is Rapidash, which isn't rapid enough to outspeed us, so we knock it out in 1 and get Blaine's badge in a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes and 57 seconds. Up next is Lady Nepotism herself, it's Janine. She is a Poison-type specialist who leads with Crobat. Crobat gets 1 hit with Surf, as does her Ariados, so she tries with a Weezing. Weezing is coughing and wheezing all over the place and doesn't even get a chance to hit, as does the second one. I really hope she's got some kind of ventilation in this gym by sending out all those wheezing. She tries to die a hit on the Venomoth, but that just makes it dire for her as she's wasted her money, and we get the Soul Badge in a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes and 37 seconds. Our final gym leader is Blue. He leads with Pidgeot, and we're going to punch it in the wings with Ice. We take it deep into the red as it uses Mirror Move, and we knock it out on our second turn. He sends out Exeggutor next, and we use another Ice Punch. We get a critical hit to knock it out in 1, and we're on to Alakazam. We swap to Surf for the Alakazam and one-shot that as well. We are very powerful at this point in the run. We don't have anything great against the Gyarados, as he uses a very weak Hydro Pump. We get the Gyarados into healing range, and that means we have to start all over again. It's 2 returns with better damage rolls to knock it out this time though, and we're on to Rhydon. Rhydon, just like its little brother Rhyhorn, is 4 times weak to water, so it goes down in 1. His final Pokemon is Arcanine, that's weak to water. He uses Extreme Speed, it doesn't hit as hard, and we've defeated Blue, grown to level 66 and got the badge in a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes and 50 seconds. And with that, we have all 16 badges. There's only one thing left to do. We're going to have a little chat with Professor Oak, who's going to open up Mount Silver, and now it's time to think about taking on Red. We're going to be getting to Red at about the 1 hour 24 minute mark, so let me know, do you think we're going to be able to defeat Red in under 90 minutes? Feraligatr managed it in 1 hour 29 minutes and 19 seconds. Whatever happens now, it's going to be incredibly close between Blastoise and Feraligatr. So let's do it. This is Red, and he leads with Pikachu. Pikachu, of course, has the type advantage over us, but we outspeed it and knock it out in 1 single Surf. This is going well. We try Ice Punch against the Venusaur and do next to nothing. It's a 3-shot against the Venusaur, and we take a lot of damage from Solar Beam. We do eventually knock it out, so we can scout how bad Espeon is going to be. He hits us with Psychic and outspeeds us, so let's use some rare candies. Now, I could have gone and got Ice Beam at this point from Goldenrod City. However, with the time it would have taken me to fly to Goldenrod, get the coin case, buy the coins, teach the move and change the clock, we really would not have had that much of a time save. I think we're better off just going for levels. We're going to keep brute forcing, we're going to try at level 69. We know that the Pikachu is not a worry at all. It is trivial because we outspeed on 1 shot. It is just getting through this Venusaur. If we could freeze it on turn 1, that would be fantastic. You can't freeze the Pokemon when Sunny Day is out, so we only have that 10% chance to freeze every single time. We'll grow to level 72 and try again. Hopefully Ice Punch does a little bit better this time. We still don't get a freeze though, and he is always using Sunny Day. He's not taking in sunlight, he wants to rapid fire those solar beams. We're through on 159 HP this time though, and we are on to the Espeon. The good news against the Espeon now is that we outspeed it. The bad news is Bite is doing next to nothing at all. We're going to keep persevering through this so we can get a little feel for how Ice Punch is going to be on Snorlax, and the answer is terrible. We don't get a freeze and we get body slammed. Let's use our final rare candies. We're at the 1 hour 27 mark now. We have just a couple of minutes to defeat Red. We get through the Pikachu in one shot and we're onto the Venusaur. We use Ice Punch against the Venusaur and we get that freeze. This is what we've been looking for. Venusaur is frozen solid. That means the sun isn't out and that means we can surf against the Espeon. We take over half health off the Espeon as he sets up a Reflect. We're going to stay on our special attack as Surf does a lot of damage against the Snorlax. And now we're just going to keep punching the Snorlax with Ice. We're going to hope that we get the status condition before Snorlax does. Body Slam has a chance to paralyze, but we get the freeze off first. That means that Snorlax doesn't get a chance to go to bed, and with the Reflects faded, we finish it off with Return. It's now Blastoise versus Blastoise. Return doesn't do too much against his Blastoise, but Surf is doing less against us. We are regaining some HP as we knock it out, and the final Pokemon is Charizard. We have the type advantage, we hit Surf first time, we knock it out, and with that we have defeated Red in a time of 1 hour 27 minutes and 58 seconds. We have not only got under 90 minutes, we have defeated Feraligator's time, and we are in second place on the leaderboard. That was such a fantastic run, even with all the mess-ups we had early on in the game. I reckon with a little bit of extra luck and a little bit of extra planning, we could beat Kangaskhan's time on a redo. But one thing's for sure, Charizard now has its work cut out for it. At the other end of the leaderboard, Miltank is now in the drop zone and Ursaring is in 11th place on page 2. And Magcargo is still our slowest run, now down in 38th place. But with that, we are done, so I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this run. If you did enjoy this run, please do leave it a like. If you want to see more runs just like this, please consider subscribing. If you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments down below, and I have a Patreon at patreon.com/trainersquidgy. Until next time though, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.